Well, it is quite the weekend, both with some crazy Trump news and also in my personal life, as I posted on the community tab, my brother's getting married, a man in love. It's so special. I'm so happy and jealous. No. And so I'm just stepping away from all of the festivities to quickly jump in and do a bunch of rapid fire items here of things that have developed. We're going to talk about Trump's crypto scam. We're talking about his insane speech at West Point and other things as well. Let's get right into it. Here is media reporting on Trump confronted by reporters screaming questions after crypto gala. We'll talk about that crypto gala. The sounds of these planes make me want to die, so I'll try not to play it for too long, but here's a reporter shouting out at Trump, "What do you say to critics who see this as corrupt?" Now, I don't like when it's worded that way, because really the proper question is, why are you so corrupt? That's maybe a more accurate question. Hey, Trump, why? Because it's not really a question, is this corrupt? But how corrupt is it and why are you doing it?
Mr. President!
How was the dinner? Solid jerk there.
Are people buying influence with you?
So that was a profound clip, no? I think I got a little clickbaited by that media headline. That's all I heard the whole time. Why is this where they let reporters stand? And then he walks by and they're probably standing there for hours. And then he walks by and they don't even get an answer from him. How was it? He said, good. What do you say to people concerned that or are people buying influence with you? Yes, is the answer. So then he just keeps walking and just scurries away from the reporters. It seemed like he was interested in maybe answering questions, but that one he didn't like and left them. And so then they got nothing except for very loud. Can we not just set up the reporters right inside the building? Do we have to have the right there in the background the whole time? I don't get it. Now, here was the defense as a reminder from this meme coin. You buy it. It personally enriches him. He's selling it as become a part of the MAGA community. So you're encouraging people to make a bad financial investment where some people who are really in the know can make a lot of money, but most of his followers are losing a bunch of money on this, but he's being enriched directly. I say that because I am about to show you a clip in a second here of a defender of Trump doing well, what about Hunter Biden? If you can actually believe that. But this is Trump directly, not Hunter Biden. This is him. Him. And so it's just absolutely blatant. I think this is probably the most blatant corruption we've ever seen a president engage in. Just hand me money. And then he had a dinner with the people who are the biggest purchasers of his meme coin. And the defense from Caroline Leavitt was, hey, but this is a person. You can't tell him what he can and can't do in his personal life. You can't. Well, you can, by the way, but because you wouldn't say that if someone handed him a bucket of cash, would you? That's what this is. It's just a digital bucket of cash. And I think we should be sending him digital buckets of feces, but, that's just my stance. But it's a personal thing, right? But then he has his official presidential seal on this lectern or podium. Whenever I get it wrong, someone says it's a lectern, not a podium, or it's a podium, not a lectern. Whatever the heck that is, I think it's a lectern. And it has the presidential seal, so it is an official visit, no?
What a nice place. Did you get to see the helicopters?
Yeah. Super cool.
Good seeing you. Covered up pretty good. I don't see a lot.
And I'll remind you. Yeah, super cool. People admitted we bought this coin so that we could go to this dinner so that we could influence him. They said that. They admitted it. As we go through this jumbo segment, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. And by the way, the join button it makes you a member. It's how you can buy influence with me. Not really. But you can support the work we do. And also on the Monday bonus show, I'll show some videos from some of the festivities if you want to hear about how the wedding activities went. Some fun little anecdotes I'll share there. But here is Batya Ungar Sargon, who says, yeah, maybe it's not the best thing. And she does admit this, that Trump is having people hand him digital buckets of cash to have influence with him. But what about Hunter Biden's paintings?
I will also say, I do wish that the media had enough credibility so that when the Democrats and the leftist media came out here and criticized him for stuff like that, it actually landed. But because they gave a pass to Joe Biden on Hunter Biden and on the paintings, and because they refuse to admit when he does anything good, the Democrats and the liberal media have no standing with which to have that credibility to convince the American people that this is problematic. And that's where we find ourselves.
I would offer only that about the Hunter Biden paintings because of the liberal media, so to speak. We reported, media outlets reported about that, which is why you know about it. So the idea that we're just ignoring it.
Conservative media.
I know you heard about it on conservative media, but it was reported. It was covered. The rest of media. But anyway.
You can't, sorry, Batya, you can't do that. It's not even, that doesn't work. The funny thing is, I bring up Biden, Hunter Biden, to prove how crazy it is they don't care about Trump. But then she's using it as an unironic defense of Trump, which is, what about Hunter? No, what about him? No, exactly. And what about him? You cared about that, right? But that was a large step removed where you never proved a link to Joe Biden being influenced by that or Joe Biden being funneled money. So, but Trump actually is the one whose pocket is getting the money placed into it. His digital wallet literally is having itself enriched. So the other thing is, Hunter Biden was selling paintings. Now, were some people buying those paintings for different reasons? I don't know, maybe. I'm sure they weren't that good. I would not buy a Hunter Biden painting. Can you imagine? But he's getting a painting bought from somebody, and then Biden's over here being president. Trump, in this analogy, is the one selling the painting, except he's not selling anything. He has a meme coin. It's called a meme coin because it's literally not something serious. Moving on from that, I don't even know what to make of clips like this because Trump keeps making different tariff announcements, and I'm getting really sick and tired of the flip-flops.
Mr. President, you are a deal maker, deal breaker. What are you hoping to achieve with a 50% tariffs on the...
Well, I think this is, there is no tariff because what they'll do is they'll send their companies into the U.S. and build their plant. We have, I guess, over $12 trillion practically committed. You look at other presidents, they haven't had $1 trillion for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. We have numbers.
Did he say $12 trillion? He doesn't even update us when he's going to increase the number. He just kind of every time he says, oh yeah, we've had 1 trillion invested. We've had 3 trillion invested in the United States. We've had 38 gazillion invested in the United States. Why doesn't he just jump to that? Because none of those numbers are real. We've examined that before, but he loves just saying that, but that's not even what I'm addressing here. Let's keep going.
I've never seen numbers like we have. And if they build their plant here, then they have no tariff at all.
Are you looking for a deal in 9 days? Will you be able to do that, sir?
I'm not looking for a deal. We've set the deal. It's at 50%. But again, there is no tariff if they build their plant here.
Yeah, so now, you might not even know that he did this because he's doing so many crazy things, which, by the way, means none of this is going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. The only way that this could even conceivably bring manufacturing back to the United States is if you had a permanent tariff approach that would increase prices, but would also potentially bring jobs back because it disincentivizes creating products elsewhere. He's not even doing that because he's switching so much, so companies would never make a permanent decision until he makes a permanent decision, which he's not doing. But this latest announcement was that the EU, tariffs on the EU are going to 50%, which is a drastic number on our allies. And the whole argument has been, we're going to make a deal, Latnik, we're going to make a deal making. And then the reporter has to hype him up. You're a deal maker, a deal breaker, which I had never heard that phrase. You're a deal breaker. But that means something else, doesn't it? I don't know why she said that. But regardless, he's the great deal maker, right? That's what they sold us. But now he says, oh, I'm not looking to make a deal with them. But tomorrow he might. So I don't even really want to spend much more time on that. Instead, let's talk about his speech at the West Point Military Academy. I've not seen something like this in a very long time. There's so many moments of absurdity. Let's start with this one where he seems to accidentally say that the goal of our military is to spread democracy at the barrel of a gun, with a gun pointed at people. He meant to say the opposite, but listen.
The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America anywhere, anytime, and any place.
Now, if you missed it, he said the job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows to transform foreign nations, but to spread democracy to everyone around the world at the point of a gun. America. Now, he meant to say, and we've heard Vance say that line, which is, we don't do drag shows or transform foreign nations or spread democracy to everyone at the point of a gun, but we... whatever, and then the actual mission statement. But he accidentally made it sound like he was saying, what we do is spread democracy by pointing guns at people, which we have done, but is not supposed to be the purpose of the U.S. Armed Forces. So a little bit of a whoopsie there. Then Mehdi Hasan responded to the next clip saying, one of the great underreported stories of Trump's ignorance / insanity is that for years he's made repeated comments about stealth fighters, which suggests he believes they are literally invisible in the sky, like Wonder Woman's plane. His weirdness cannot be overstated. Listen to this, because I'll show you a compilation afterwards that proves what Mehdi's saying here, that he actually believes stealth means invisible, not to radars, to people's eyes. Like if the plane were sitting next to you, you wouldn't know it was there. And you just walk into it. The clapping is vigorous. There's vigorous clapping at this event. We will spread democracy at the point of a gun. Is this the clap line? Did he mean to say that?
And I've approved a $1 trillion investment, and that will be, again, the largest ever in the history of our country. And we are buying you new airplanes, brand new, beautiful planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they're stealth. I don't know. That whole stealth thing, I'm sort of wondering. You mean if we shape a wing this way, they don't see it, but the other way they see it? I'm not so sure. But that's what they tell me.
They call them stealth. You can see right through them. Imagine this. I got a beautiful body. If I were sitting in the cockpit, completely naked, and you were under the plane, you could see my clear butt cheeks perfectly. So beautiful, smushed up against the invisible seat. It would just look flat. Gross. Yeah, and that's not the only time he seemed wildly confused. That this just means it makes it difficult for radars to pick it up. Not you can't see it. Like, again, Wonder Woman's plane.
Ever made. And so I want to do that. And sometimes, stealth, they do stealth. I'm not a huge believer in stealth, because stealth is basically, a lot of it's to design and to shape. And, I'm sure you maybe think, but also if that's the case, they're going to figure it out pretty fast.
I think maybe you think, but also. It's something to consider.
I think so. You're going to design an ugly plane for stealth reasons, and then 6 months later, they're going to figure out this, and then you're stuck with a plane. Now we're doing a super F-22, and we're going to be going with it pretty quickly.
Now, maybe our MAGA viewers out there will think, okay, maybe it is true that I was reading about this, a part of what they do design these planes to be you think also, and because, just to use some of Trump's linguistic skills, that there are shape components. So good, Don, there's shape. But maybe you think that we're misinterpreting him purposefully. If those are your 2 points of evidence, that's ridiculous. There's more.
Stealth, you can't see it. So when I talk to even people from the other side, they're trying to order our plane.
There's an F-35 stealth fighter outside. It's something very special. It's can't see it.
Hey, Fred, she makes a plane you can't see. It's stealth. F-35. I hope you can't see it at least, right?
You cannot see it. Is that correct? That's correct. Better be correct, right? I was asking the Air Force guys, I said, how good is this plane? They said, well, sir, you can't see it. I said, yeah, but in a fight, a fight like I watch on the movies, the fight, they're fighting. How good is it? They say, well, it wins every time because the enemy cannot see it. Even if it's right next to it, it can't see it. You can't see it. You can't see it. So it's hard to fight a plane that you can't see, right?
Oh, no. This is the guy they insist, amid all of the controversy around Biden, is the cognitively sharp whippersnapper.
I'm not cognitively.
But Luke, what about Biden? Chill, I got it. All right. But Luke, he's not cognitively declining. He's just stupid. Okay, maybe so. I'm not going to argue with you there. That is the defense I've heard. No. It's not that he's losing his step. It's just that he never knew that in the first place. Okay. Good with me. That's fine. Not a great argument for him, but okay. Then this.
Company, and he had nothing to do. He ended up getting a divorce, found a new wife. Could you say a trophy wife? I guess we can say a trophy wife.
He is speaking at the West Point Military Academy. People who are dedicating their lives to serving this great country. And he is talking about trophy wives.
Wife, I guess we can say a trophy wife. It didn't work out too well. But that doesn't work out too well, I must tell you. A lot of trophy wives doesn't work out.
How'd you know him? I have this friend, so handsome, so beautiful all over. He told me the story of in an invisible plane, your butt cheeks would be smushed up against the invisible wall. And he has a trophy wife and she never wants to hang out with him. So sad. He's from Canada.
But it made him happy for a little while at least. But he found a new wife. He sold his little boat and he got a big yacht. He had one of the biggest yachts anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the name. Is the initials of this friend of yours Donald Trump? Is that what? And then he seems to misremember that the speech he's referring to here was at Alabama University. Roll Tide! As opposed to Ohio State University, which are two pretty different places in the country.
Army careers. And I thought I'd do this, and I can make this to a civilian audience or to a military audience. It's pretty much the same. And I did this recently at Ohio State, and they really liked it. I gave them a little advice as to what I see for what you want to do and some tips. And first of all, and you've already done it, different from civilians.
Okay, I don't even want to hear this. But if you'll put that back up, I think he's referring to his speech at Alabama. But he's wearing a MAGA hat. That's just so I don't even want to say unprofessional, as if that's ever that's top of the list with our Trump concerns. But a MAGA hat he's wearing during a speech in front of military members.
Why are you the way that you are?
It just doesn't seem to make any sense. And then the red hat with the pink tie. I'm not the best in terms of fashion, but red hat right next to a pink tie. Is that right? Fashion experts can let us know. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I feel like as one of the audience members, it would be so awkward, almost as awkward as if you were a patron at this restaurant. That's brutal. That's brutal. You know, I remember when I was working at a restaurant and they said, "Oh, we haven't trained you on how to hold these." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not. I can hold a what is that? A plate, a large holding device. I can hold it. The drinks will be there. I'll balance it. I have good balance. We'll be good. Okay, chill." And then I think the third batch of drinks I held, I forgot that when you take a drink off, then it could tip over and it all over the floor. And then I was just rubbing it, to which my manager walked up and said, "I can hold it. No, I can hold it," imitating me. I don't need to be trained on it. I don't even sound like that. Is that what you think I sound like? Is that what you sound like? So I really sympathize, but that was a lot of beer to drop. Back to the Trump speech.
And the American people, because they're always going to be there for you. I went through a very tough time with some very radicalized, sick people. And I say I was investigated more than the great, late Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone. And now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this?
West Point Military Academy. Truly graduating. An incredible achievement. And he's rambling on about Alphonse, the great late Alphonse Capone. Now, there were parts where he said the more typical things, because I'll compare this a little bit to the Biden West Point speech. You know, he said normal stuff too.
Because this is a day that you will never, ever forget. In a few moments, you'll become graduates of the most elite and storied military academy in human history, and you will become officers in the greatest and most powerful army the world has ever.
So to his credit, he did read some of his teleprompter, which we're proud of him for, but it definitely was a different vibe than whenever Biden spoke at West Point.
In time, some of you will serve in powerful roles at headquarters, the Pentagon, even in the White House, to confront challenges a previous generation of soldiers couldn't imagine. When that happens, hold fast to your values you learned here at West Point. Duty, honor, country. Hold fast to your honor code, which says, quote, "We will not lie, steal or cheat, nor tolerate those who do," end of quote.
Right, so, end of quote. I didn't know that was there. That's so iconic. Let's listen again.
"We will not lie, steal or cheat, nor tolerate those who do," end of quote.
So different strokes for different folks, okay? You can have stories about Alphonse Capone and trophy wives and stealth planes, or you can have end of quote. Now, I know what some of the MAGAs out there are thinking. Why won't you show when he fell? That wasn't at West Point. That was at the Air Force Academy. Yeah. And what's so cut it back to it. Look at his Secret Service detail full screen. Look at his face right here. He's making the oh shoot face. That's a bummer. That's a bad bump. But he was trying to jog off. Did you see that? He was trying to jog and the sandbag hit him. Well, it was on the floor, but he hit it. But yeah, I'm not gonna. But There were no stories about trophy wives, though. So, speaking of Biden, I saw that he took a commercial flight. Is that even allowed?
In Connecticut, appearing in public for the first time since he announced his cancer diagnosis.
Our political reporter, Mike Cerulli, briefly spoke with former president exclusively before he left the state and has more.
Former President Biden was in Connecticut attending his grandson's graduation in the Litchfield County area. We caught a glimpse of him as he was making his way into the commercial terminal here at Bradley Airport. We're told he was boarding an American Airlines flight bound for Philadelphia near his home in Delaware, and his appearance, of course, coming on the heels of his disclosure that he has cancer and amidst new scrutiny about his time in office and his decision to exit the 2024 presidential.
Why are you taking a commercial flight? You won. You were president. You don't have to do that anymore. That's for us. You don't have to do that anymore. A commercial flight? Can you imagine? You just I'm assuming, please tell me he was in first class. Please tell me he was in first class. You just sit down and you hear, hey folks, this is your captain speaking. Now I'm flying like Captain Joe Biden. We're going to have a safe flight. I'll get back on here if we get turbulence. Imagine
Guess
how...
what? Grows the economy.
Imagine hearing that over the telecom. Hey, he doesn't know he's still on the telecom. Hey, pilot, you still got those cookies? I love to numb in one of those cookies. There's a lot of calories, but that's all right. That would be a crazy experience. Well, so I guess he's doing commercial. Very interesting. Other little updates. Trump administration launches investigation into Media Matters amid Musk lawsuits. Yet another example of the targeting of outlets they don't like. The Trump administration is investigating Media Matters amid Elon Musk's ongoing lawsuit against the liberal website site. The Federal Trade Commission on Wednesday opened investigation into Media Matters, a liberal advocacy organization that has published research on hateful and anti-Semitic content on X, according to two people familiar with the investigation. Musk is suing them for defamation, and meanwhile, the Trump administration is now investigating yet another liberal outlet. One of the things that amid all of those sorts of crises that we're going to need the Democratic Party to do is bring forward candidates that can connect with people and be authentic. And I thought this clip from Jon Stewart's collaboration with Jon Favreau really spoke to why so many politicians struggle with that.
Go with what you believe. And that the best way to do that is to just say what's on your mind as opposed to talking to everyone around you.
That's such an interesting point to me. And it really resonates because when I was hosting the show before before the 1 day a week old man schedule that I've been handed, which is lovely, we used to do a thing every year where we would invite, because it was hard to get political people on the show at that time. You'd get some written a book, but mostly it was difficult. They were nervous about it. So we would invite all the press people from senators' offices and congressional people's offices to come to the show in the afternoon, and we would do a panel with them. I would talk to them and they would ask questions. So it was all the, whoever the press person was for this senator and the press person for this representative. And they inevitably, so my boss, I'd love to have him have a successful appearance on The Daily Show. I think that would be really helpful for my boss. What's your advice on what would make a successful appearance? And I'd go, oh, well, your boss could come on the show and tell me what they think. And then what I'll do is I'll say what I think about what they said. And then we'll talk about that. And they'd be like, so the strategy is authenticity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not I'm not telling you a strategy. I'm saying just fucking talk like a person.
Yeah. It is remarkable how difficult it is for some people to be people. It's really bizarre. I just imagine these conversations. All right, so we're about to go meet normal people, regular people, right? Okay. So what do I do to be normal like them? Do I need to have a McDonald's wrapper fall out of my purse or something? Should I? Or the Hillary Clinton, I carry around hot sauce everywhere I go. And the staff was like, yeah. Just try to be authentic. Okay, so how do I do authenticity? How do I do that? Do you have talking points on that? How do I? It's not something you can teach, right? The weird thing is, do they not, I guess being a politician can so suck you of your ability to connect with people, I guess, because it's confusing. Like, well, be you. Okay, who's that? And I love sometimes it'll slip out where they'll be like, when I'm speaking, they're like giving a speech to normal, regular folks out in regular places at kitchen tables around the country, and they're telling me about their regular people problems. It's sort of like, are you using regular as a slur? Is that when I go around this great country and speak to peasants, I mean regular people. And there are some politicians who we need to not have as the leader of a movement to defeat Trump, because people are hungry for authenticity, which is why those Trump stories, despite me seeing them as a berserker world, actually convince people he's authentic, because at least he's being off the cuff, right? And it's actually more important than you'd think. Another update. Got to get through all of this, and then I'm going back to wedding things. Disney CEO told hosts of The View to tone down Trump bashing. Multiple sources shared details with the ABC about a meeting in which the ABC News president delivered a message that left the co-hosts unnerved. Now, it says that it wasn't framed as an edict. This came from, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Kara Memedovic, who convened a meeting with The View's executive producer and its host. And even though it wasn't supposed to be framed as an edict, it did leave the hosts shaken, saying, wait, is this another y'all are afraid of Trump and so we need to tone it down type of situations, even if from the executive's point of view, it was more, hey, maybe we talk about some other things a little bit more, right? And it's a scary time where we're obviously covering extensively CBS choosing to potentially bend the knee to Trump. We saw ABC now, a similar thing here in their world. And luckily Harvard's fighting back, but too many people are choosing not to fight back. That is where I'll leave it for this. All of you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you next time.